Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, or otherwise strange content. I haven't been doing Saturday morning cartoons because it's just been really hard with my schedule to get one out every week, and they weren't even going up on Saturday mornings, so I'm definitely going to keep covering them, but I don't think it'll be an every week thing, and they might not always be on a Saturday. We're just going to play it by ear. But today, I'm fulfilling another request that I got semi-recently. I'll have to find the comment and put it in post. But it's a cartoon from the 90s that I never saw before called Sherlock in the 22nd Century. Huh? And guess what? I still haven't seen this. I'm watching this for the first time on camera, so there we go. Also, it's incredibly early in the morning right now, so if I look exhausted, I look correct.
Sherlock Holmes. Bring Sherlock Holmes back to life. Back to life.
So this is literally just a cartoon about Sherlock, Watson, and Moriarty being brought back to life as if they're historical figures in the 22nd century. And so they have to solve crimes in like a future dystopia with their like 19th century sensibilities.
My name is Dr. John Watson. What I'm about to tell you is beyond belief, but rest assured, every word is true.
I believe you, John.
The legendary detective Sherlock Holmes and I were on vacation.
Right off the bat, I love that Sherlock and Watson apparently go on vacation together. Like, Watson has a perfectly good wife, but like, no, he's like, he'd much rather hang out with Sherlock. I love that.
Hold a while. I have urgent need of Dr. Watson.
What do you make of this, Watson?
A spry old goat for his age.
I would call him a goat in that context right in front of him. And like, being a goat nowadays is badass, but like, not in 1891.
Go on ahead, Watson. The poor man is winded. I shall accompany him down the trail. Professor James Moriarty. So we meet again.
How did you know?
Elementary, sir.
So this old guy is Moriarty in disguise. Sherlock Holmes' nemesis.
How did you know?
Elementary, sir.
And so many things just happen in rapid succession of each other. His voice changed like 2 octaves, and then he just ripped off. What kind of Party City quality mask and hair and facial hair piece can be ripped off that easily?
Elementary, sir. I simply use my eyes and my brain.
Eyes and brains, Moriarty. Eyes and brains. What a solid diss.
Eyes and brains, Moriarty. Eyes and brains.
For somebody to put all that work into this disguise and then be like, how did you know it was me? It's like, I use my eyes and also my thinking brain.
It shall be your undoing. Eyes and brains aren't everything. Sherlock!
Watson's like, damn it, I left him alone for 2 seconds.
No man could survive that lethal abyss.
So this is this show's version of the famous, Sherlock and Moriarty going over the cliff together. Spoiler alert. On a 130-year-old book.
The world had lost its greatest detective, and I, my best friend.
Aww.
New London, May 25th, 2103. Subject identified, Martin Fenwick.
Okay. That is a massive scenery change. Very quickly.
Failure to report for crypnotic programming renewal. Other vehicle reported stolen, 0200 from Piccadilly Circus.
I don't know how I feel about this, like, integration of 3D graphics for the futuristic tense. I know why they did it. It was new technology in the 90s when this was made, but also it already looks super outdated.
Impact registered.
Duh! Oh, so we've got this girl who's like a space cop.
Damage report has been uplinked to New Scotland Yard.
Thanks, Watson. Snitch.
I like her, and she's got a salty AI named Watson. Nice.
Go, master! I'll draw her fire!
Yeah, the integration of 2D and 3D graphics, I'm still like, my brain's still processing it.
Moriarty.
Wait, so Moriarty's already alive again?
My master, your worst nightmare.
And he has zombie assistants? Zombie assistants would be a great name for a band.
Extensive damage to private property, a 50-year-old acacia tree flattened, and Lord Nelson's hat. All to catch one harmless rogue geneticist.
She was just doing her job, asshole.
Criminal tendencies reprogramming begins in 10.
So now they're interrogating this zombie in what can only be described by me as unethical interrogation practices.
Merci. Hypnosis complete. Prisoner released.
Hypnosis successful.
Get the man an Oscar. No one that's really been hypnotized overacts like that.
So she knows this guy's lying, so they let him go, and then they follow him as he goes to
221B Baker Street, the Sherlock Holmes Museum.
221B Baker Street, which has been turned into the Sherlock Holmes Museum.
Temporarily closed due to lack of attendance and budgetary constraints.
Typical.
We're moving in. Police, halt! This is your last warning!
Okay, I see what you're trying to do, but I don't think you're threatening him very much when he's like 10 paces ahead of you and you just got knocked on your ass.
Catch me if you can, Yachty!
Internal Directive 12C. An unaccompanied officer may not enter the underground area without prior authorization.
So I guess in the future, cops have learned to abide by the law, and so she's like respectful of the fact that she can't go into a restricted area, so she leaves.
I'm not that crazy. There's rats down there.
What is the trope of girls always being scared of rats and mice? I think rats and mice are adorable. Is that just me? She's like, zombie with a gun? No problem. Hang on, a rodent?
Come on, let's see what Fenwick stole from the museum. The disguise worn by Professor James Moriarty at Reichenbach Falls just before he attacked Sherlock Holmes.
So he stole the OG Moriarty's disguise. I see where this is going.
That guy in the hovercraft, Fenwick's buddy, who just tried to run us down. This is not possible.
So she's putting two and two together that Moriarty's alive again, somehow.
Professor James Moriarty died over 200 years ago.
Hypnosis, the process by which criminal urges are deprogrammed from the human psyche, appears to be losing its effectiveness.
Wait, so hypnotizing is just hypnotizing criminal activity out of people's brains? Huh.
And finally, from the Journal of DNA Science, cellular rejuvenation may enable dead cells to be reanimated, according to Nobel Prize winner Sir Evan Hargreaves.
Hargreaves, why does that name sound familiar? Oh, because that's the shitty dad in Umbrella Academy. Okay, sorry, off topic.
James Moriarty, professor of mathematics, according to Holmes, the greatest code breaker the world has ever known. Well, that could explain the hypnosis problem.
Oh, that amount of cartoon dust just like felt like it was gonna trigger my allergies. Jeez.
I am not crazy. I saw Moriarty.
They think she's crazy.
I'm sending you to the brain text.
But sir!
It does sound pretty crazy.
Chief Grayson, I saw him. He was as real as you are.
Appearances can be deceiving, Lestrade. Look at this Elastomaster the lab tech's whipped up.
What? I don't care for that.
Right.
And quit calling that thing Watson, Lestrade.
Oh god, that's terrifying. Stop.
It's a compudroid, not a person.
That's rude. I feel like AI Watson has feelings. Probably.
Oh, Zed, what's wrong now? It came off so easily when the techies were showing me.
So is he just stuck with an old lady face now? I mean, it works for him.
Guess what? No DNA or fingerprint records on file. This subject is unknown.
But that's impossible!
Is that so weird that there's something that you don't know?
Everyone's DNA is recorded in a database. Everyone's!
Oh. It's like massive Big Brother situation. Got it. This is what all those people against the vaccine are worried about. They're farming our DNA.
I believe Moriarty stole his former disguise from the Holmes Museum so he would not be able to link his DNA scans to the stolen hovercraft.
So he stole his clothing from the museum so that they couldn't link his DNA to a stolen hovercraft. The government has everyone's data and DNA, but they they never, like, took samples from these historic artifacts. Just kind of short-sighted on their part.
Moriarty met his match but once. If we are to save the modern world from his evil, we must bring back his most formidable opponent.
So she's like, this dead guy's causing problems, so there's only one thing left to do. Time to bring back another dead guy.
Sherlock Holmes.
And then, just like Walt Disney's head, allegedly, Sherlock Holmes is revealed to be cryogenically frozen.
Doesn't look like much, does he?
They stuck him in like a fridge in the basement.
The world thought Holmes had lost his life at Reichenbach Falls, but somehow he outwitted death and Moriarty both. In fact, he died of old age many years and many cases later.
Yeah, everybody knows that. I learned that from the Great Mouse Detective.
I have one more thing to add to that memo to Grayson.
Unavailable. File uploaded.
What?
So AI Watson sent her memo without her authorizing it, so...
Get in the cruiser, you worthless bucket of Zed! You're supposed to help me!
Now he's being verbally attacked. Poor AI Watson.
You're my only hope for stopping Moriarty. Only you can bring Sherlock Holmes back to life.
So she goes to the scientist and asks for his help in bringing Sherlock and Watson back to life.
Very well. It is a challenge I cannot refuse.
And he just seems tired, which kind of gives me the headcanon that she's asked for him to bring dead people back from the dead before.
Good thing he was preserved in honey, or there would have been nothing left to reanimate.
Ugh. Somehow that's the grossest thing I've heard all day.
He's... incredible.
He's probably sticky if he's preserved in honey.
Sherlock?
At your service.
Welcome to the 22nd century, Holmes.
I knew she wasn't going to. This is a children's show. But wouldn't it be funny if he woke up after being dead for 200 years and she was just like, no shit, Sherlock.
You call this food, Inspector Lestrade?
How did you know my name?
Oh, she's a Lestrade?
Eyes and brains, my dear. The family resemblance is strong. I knew your ancestor only too well, I'm afraid.
She's the great-great-great-great-granddaughter of the Inspector of Sherlock's time? Nice.
Besides, you're still wearing your badge.
She seems better at her job than her great-grandpappy, so that's nice.
Who or what is that metallic gentleman sitting in the back? Does he do anything?
Debatable. He's a compudroid snitch, I call Watson.
Oh, so I guess just Sherlock gets brought back and Watson is AI Watson. Okay. That's cool. I'm caught up. Oh, but that's so sad. Watson was so sad about losing his best friend. He would love to ride around in a future hovercraft with his best buddy.
Breaking news. Crypnosis failure stun New London. Crisis declared.
How is it breaking news if that's the same clip that we just saw like 2 days ago?
This is the perpetrator.
Moriarty? He was laid to rest centuries ago.
So she shows Sherlock a picture of Moriarty and she's like, he's our guy. And Sherlock's like, ah, shit. I thought I killed that guy 200 years ago.
The man is dead.
So are you.
He's just like, ah, shit, I'm dead?
Maybe it's time you started your re-education.
Maybe it's time you start your re-education. Solid diss.
This is a HoloLearner. You put in a vid, and you put on the goggle phones, and you learn stuff.
Flying cars? Talking picture screens? Auto-learning devices?
It's kind of a delayed reaction considering that there's more impressive technology all around him.
Women in charge? What's the world come to?
Women in charge? The hell, Sherlock? I know you're a Victorian, but damn.
Thanks, Lestrade. I won't have it.
Then you'll have to solve your little crime wave without his help. Or mine. I quit.
So her boss is giving her a hard time, so she threatens to quit New Scotland Yard. That's where she works.
I'm sure someone in the media will advance me a few million credits for an exclusive interview with the Sherlock Holmes, especially when they hear how New Scotland Yard turned down his help.
Hang on, it just hit me. She's got a very American accent, and they're supposed to be in the future version of England, in London. So in this universe, did the Brits just like phase out of their accents? Did an American accent become like a universal accent? That's terrifying. We all sound awful when we talk. We know we have to talk to each other every day.
Holmes? Meet Watson.
Greetings, human. I am a Model 7 law enforcement compudroid.
I would love if he was just like, you're not my real Watson.
Well, there are similarities. The waistline. And an unfortunate tendency to overblown pomposities.
Don't body shame Watson. 200 years after he's dead, that man cried on parchment for you.
Stay, Watson. See that pile of books over there by the computer?
Affirmative.
You mean the 3 books on the table?
Read, or scan them. Maybe you'll learn something.
Why is everybody mean to AI Watson? Is this how the AI uprising started?
I looked at those books. They were my friend John Watson's journals. Where did you get them?
Family heirlooms. You miss them?
More than I care to admit.
Aww. So the Lestrades inherited Watson's stuff? How? Did they also inherit Sherlock's stuff? Is she just gonna be like, hey, I have your bed linens here that I also inherited, and he's just gonna be like, blanky!
It is my business to know what other people don't.
Hypnosis complete.
Ugh. I know they're like trying to zap the crime spree out of people, but this just looks inhumane.
Oh, that's the deceased detective.
I don't think he's currently deceased. I think he was previously deceased. Previously deceased would be a great name for a band. I'm sorry.
I'm sure you can succeed where New Scotland Yard cannot.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Ah, burn.
Fenwick, follow that hovercraft!
No, back to the yard, Lestrade.
Many admirable things about Sherlock Holmes, one of which is his immense disdain for the police. So now they're flying out in another weirdly rendered 3D hovercraft.
There is definitely a brilliant, yet warped mind at work. But not Moriarty's in my estimation.
Do you think, like, Moriarty and Sherlock held it over Watson's head that he had a boring-ass name? Lestrade, too. They all had badass names. Was Sherlock, like, a popular name back then, or was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle just super extra? Okay, anyway, gotta finish the episode.
By the way, might I suggest you go to manual override?
What are you talking about?
Shame that you don't have some kind of advanced AI to help you, huh? I don't know if he could fly that thing. I just feel like somebody needs to rep for poor Watson.
Thanks for turning off the autopilot, Holmes.
So they almost crashed in the ground because of autopilot? I don't think autopilot is a very helpful invention in this universe.
What happened?
Your police cruisers, like your crypnosis machines, are all linked to the master computer at the yard. An intruder could not only cause the crypnosis programs to fail, but would also be able to wreak havoc wherever the long arm of the law might reach.
Oh, they got hacked. Okay.
As even you can see.
Oh my god. Sherlock is so shady. I love him.
Let's stay out of there, Holmes. That's the heart of the computer.
Now would be a good time to introduce him to the invention of sunglasses. Did they have sunglasses in 1891? Oh, they had them in the 1700s. Damn. Sorry, can you tell I haven't taken any of my medication yet today? Who would have thought Sherlock Holmes would be a 90s action star? Moriarty looks like Wolverine. Moving on.
There's no one else. There cannot be.
Sir, I must respectfully disagree. That man is no longer capable of independent thought.
You're both wrong!
Okay, everybody calm down.
It may think like Moriarty, it may even look like Moriarty, but Moriarty it is not, no matter how much he wants us to think so.
So Sherlock thinks that it's a fake AI Moriarty?
You have resurrected the computer network with stronger safeguards?
As we speak, the crypnosis crisis is over.
So they've solved this episode's case about the cryptonosis whatever, which is shockingly unimportant to me personally.
One lucky guess does not a New Scotland Yard detective make.
All the more reason to remain in private practice.
But I like how the police chief literally refuses to hire the actual Sherlock Holmes.
What prompted you to come to our aid, Watson?
My
Man, surely you know the answer to that.
Uh-oh, sounds like Watson's got a short.
I am, after all, your faithful servant, Dr. John Watson.
What have you done? This machine thinks it's Watson.
Elementary, my dear Holmes.
Okay. That's the end of that episode. I'm so fascinated by this cartoon. How did I never see this before? I'm gonna definitely have to cover more episodes in the future. They're all on YouTube, so I'll link them. But that's it for this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Everything you do to support this channel means the world to me. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so. Because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Oh my god. How high do you have to be like, what if we put Sherlock in the future and then sold it to kids?